This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Hello, fellow Fox fans. Oh, it's good to be back. How are you doing? This is Leicester Till I Die TV. You can catch us live on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give us a quick subscribe as well. We would be eternally grateful. Facebook, the group, and on Twitter at lcfc. Let us have your comments. Did you miss it? International football. Why? It's all geared up for the big teams to get through. If we can't beat the likes of Albania and San Marino, then we don't deserve to wear the shirts, do we? It's not proper football. It's a joke. It was boring. Let somebody tell me what went on, because I wasn't watching it. What were we qualifying for? World Cups, Euros? Who knows? It should be cancelled at the moment. Well, we've got all this COVID on. We don't need it. More importantly, the Premier League. Surely that's more important. It is this weekend, a bit of a small game and a bit of a matter of this coming up. Oh, it's going to be a biggie. It is going to be a biggie. Leicester City host Manchester City. And I'm really pleased to say on the Opposition View show tonight from the Blue Podcast, if you're watching on Twitter or you're on Twitter, you can follow him at the Blue Podcast. It's Benjamin, and let's bring him in now and say good evening, Benjamin. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Brilliant. And well, I've got to say it because I absolutely love saying this all the time. A top of the table clash.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a good game either way.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting, like you say, coming off the international break. But yeah. I mean, I'd like to think we'll win, but I won't be surprised if it's a draw. But yeah.
The thing is that, and you won't thank me for sort of reminding you. I will remind you again later. We'll go into it in a bit more detail. The sort of game earlier in the season, and even after that, if you gave me a point now, I'm kind of thinking I'd be happy. I mean. Come on. I mean, you've won the Premier League. It's yours. It's yours for the taking. Be a bit generous. You don't want Man United to come second, do you? We did you a favour. We booted Man United out the cup for you. You know what I mean? You've got to have enjoyed that. Return the favour here.
No. Want to win every game. But it's
Good evening, Rob. He's impressed with your beard there, Ben.
yeah, it's lockdown beard.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, like you say, that match way back then. Well, I can't remember what was it. What was it, like second match of the season or something?
It was something like that. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
It was weird because it was a bit of a staggered start for different teams, wasn't it? Because we were all playing and starting at different times. But yeah, it was certainly very early on. I don't wish to sort of, seeing as you mentioned it, I have got the details here. as it happens, and it was too far. I'm going to be honest with you. Even in that game, I never saw that coming. You were pretty much, I would have said at the start, reasonably in control.
Yeah, I think you just destroyed us that day. But I mean, this is like my trying to come up with reasons, sort of, as a City fan, because obviously, I mean, on the day you just destroyed us, but like at the start of the season, with many of the top clubs around Europe, they're all struggling a bit because obviously the season finished later on.
Yeah.
Then you've got the finishing Champions League later on, and then you've only got 2 weeks, and then it's a new season.
Yeah.
And then you've got, sort of, like you say, the staggered break. So it's not, it's a bit sort of like not really sure where you're up to and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you smashed us.
I mean, it kind of, for me, sums up the whole season because nothing's going to form. You look at your start and where you are now. You're looking at where Liverpool were last season, where they are now. And, you look at us and we go and, let's be honest, smash you 5-2. And then a couple of weeks later, we go and lose to the bottom team in Fulham. There's just no logic to the game. And you've come through, and I'd say you're the only team, really. I mean, you've lost 3 games all season, and that is obviously Premier League winning form. But there's only you that's really been consistent.
Yeah. No, I think, like you say, I think I mean, there's a lot of it has been made that because we've got a good squad that we've been able to rotate, so we've not got as tired as a squad. Yeah. With the amount, like the sort of frequency of the games, but I mean, I think there's other reasons. So like after that 5-2 loss, I think it was the day after we signed Ruben Diaz, literally the day after. So it's like, we got smashed 5-2. Oh, we'll sign a defender then. But,
You're kind of Man City, though, isn't it? You can afford to do that.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, like I think obviously it is a factor that our squad is good enough to be able to rotate every week, and so therefore the players aren't as tired. But I mean, it's, even then they still have to go out and perform, and they're doing that. I was looking at our fixtures next month, this month now, and we don't have a midweek off. We're playing weekend, midweek every week this month. So it's going to be difficult for them to, if they can maintain it, fantastic. But it will be difficult for them to.
I mean, that's when your squad, will come in, as Jason said there. Your bench is another starting 11. Which is true, but I mean, we felt that. I mean, every team, because of the way, like you say, the very short pre-season, the number of games that have been coming, because it is a shorter season. You know, every team's got a right to turn around and say we've suffered with injuries. We certainly have, because We've given more games this season to Christian Fuchs than he's had in the past 3 seasons put together.
Yeah.
But we've somehow managed to sort of get the youngsters through, and not the second string, but the players on the fringe have come in and done the job. But we were talking before we came in here, the quadruple's on for you, but that is going to take its toll as you get towards the end of the season. And we're not in Europe now. And whilst I wish we still was, for us, and we're in the FA Cup and we're in, obviously, the Premier League top 4 still, well, in a way, it's an advantage us not being in play. We've got one game, which is the rearranged game against West Brom, which is on a Thursday, but we're not playing until the Monday the following week. We're not going to game the weekend. But it's success. You can't have it both ways, can you?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely gives you that advantage here to kick on to get top 4. How was it? I didn't realize. Actually, I mean, it's just a while ago now, but I can't.
Andy, I wish, I'll tell you.
I can't remember what was happening, but I think it's going to be definitely an advantage for you in terms of top 4, because you can kick on and you can fully concentrate on that. Obviously, like you say, if you're going to be successful, then you're going to have to be able to manage that, but that'll come. And obviously, because you missed out like by the finest of margins last year for the Champions League, then you really want to do it this year. In terms of City, I can't see maybe I'm a bit of a pessimist, which I think a lot of City fans are, but I can't see the quadruple happening. I just think we'll slip up in the Champions League, to be honest. If we get past Dortmund, I think we can beat them, but it's oh, sorry. I was just saying that I'd probably slip up in the Champions League, because if we get through to the semis, Bayern and PSG will be really difficult. I'd like to think we can beat them, but it's Bayern and PSG. And even then, we might not even get past Dortmund, because Haaland is a quality striker. I'm not sure. I think Sancho might be injured, but Haaland might go and bang in a hat-trick against us, and we'll sign him in the summer or something.
Whoever delays well against you, you buy. It's not a bad philosophy. I mean, it would be amazing if you did do the quadruple, because of course it's never ever been done before. I mean, speaking as a Leicester City fan, I hope you don't, because that would mean you won the FA Cup, and we'd like to win it this time. We've had 4 goes at it. In fact, last time we were in there in the final, you beat us. Then you're probably too young to remember. Unfortunately, I'm not. But you beat us 1-0 at Wembley in 1969. So not that I'm holding a grudge, you understand. But, Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but stick your name at the end if you're not signed in. Sorry, that's mad, Jason. That's the wrong comment. Hey, you didn't have a centre forward last time we played. Have you got one this week?
I mean, they're both fit. Whether he plays a centre forward is another thing. Yes. Me personally, I think we've played better without one recently, which is, shocking in some ways. I think partly it's down to our backup striker Jesus being not great. Because if Aguero's playing that centre forward position, you're like, but Jesus is just not. He's a good player, but he's just not the replacement for Aguero. It's with Aguero, I think he's more of a winger, to be honest. With Aguero, you get 2-3 chances, you get a goal. Jesus is, 5, 6, 7 chances, you get a goal, and it's just not good enough if you want to play that centre forward role. Because I've seen that Peps thinking of moving Jesus out to the wing once they buy a striker, whether that's Haaland or someone else, I don't know, but that definitely is going to happen.
You're going to miss Aguero. I mean, Andy said you won't have him next year. Who can replace him? Is almost. I'm not saying anybody's irreplaceable, but I suppose he's as close as it comes, isn't he? I mean, he's had an amazing. I was looking at his stats, and to be quite honest with you, it's scary. I mean, you know, this season he's only got 1 goal, but he's only played 8 games this season. But you know, when you look back, apart from the second season is going right. This is going right back 10 years when he got 12, but it's 16. But most of the time, it's in the 20 goals a season.
Yeah.
He's been a great servant for you.
Goals in all competitions it's usually between 20 and 30 goals a season. That's invaluable. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit sad that he's going, but like.
Somebody's being optimistic there. You know? We've got to get past Southampton first. But yeah, he has almost you know put a statue up to him, you know, because you that goal, obviously the famous Aguero goal, you know, that he got when the first time you won it. You know, the guy is always going to be, you know, up there for you, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good point that people have been making, that they wouldn't have announced that he's leaving if they didn't have or weren't going to get a replacement, because there's no chance you let him go without a replacement. And I think it's just because he's 32 now, they're wanting to refresh that striker role and bring someone else younger, and because that would mean that he would be competing with someone younger. They've said to him, "Do you want to be doing that?" And he's gone, "Nah, it's all right," which is fair enough.
Yeah. Do you don't think he would be happy, because we're pretty much in the same position with Jamie Vardy? You know, he's he's not, you know, I'm not sure if he's that age off the top of my head, but he's certainly in his early 30s. And, you know, he can't do probably next season might be his last full season where he's playing 90 minutes every week. And I can see him being used as a super sub. But like you say, Aguero probably doesn't want to do that, does he?
No. I mean, which is fair enough. And also, I think because of that investment, they wanted to reduce his wage and stuff like that, because he wouldn't be playing as much and so on and so forth. And he wasn't keen on that either, which is fair enough. So yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, he's going to Barca or PSG or somewhere like that, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
If he went to, I mean, there has been rumours that he could go United, but apparently they're not true. Because if he went to United, I think I'd be in mourning for all of next season.
You don't think he could make his way down to the King Power at all?
I mean, I couldn't, like, if I wouldn't mind any other club in the Prem except United. I'd be like, all right, whatever. But if he went to United, I'd be like devastated. But apparently they're not true. But I mean,
well,
like,
Tevez did it, didn't he?
Yeah, it still could happen, possibly. But yeah, apparently.
I certainly know what you mean. But a couple of questions here, and this is, I was actually going to ask you this later, but the guys have brought it up here. Rob here, would you buy Nacho back for 50 million from us? Scott Blakely here, Scott Blankley. Would you want Inacho back?
He's been playing well for you recently, hasn't he?
He has. I've got to be honest with you. He's been he's struggled, because whoever comes into that role, you've been up against Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like when Aguero was on form, you know, there's certain players that the name's always first on the team sheet. He was always struggling. There's been a few managers that have looked at him and not been keen on him. And it's if we're honest, you know, he's missed some sitters in the past, but then he's not been playing regularly. We haven't got reserve teams like we used to, where they play. You know, these players can get games. but he's on a bit of a run now. We've kind of got a formation that sort of suits him. He's actually on better form at the moment than Jamie Vardy. Yeah. Were you as a man? I mean, I was so excited when we bought him. Were you as a Man City fan sorry to see him go, or were you, not bothered either way?
I mean, at the time, it was because we had Aguero, Jesus, and then Inacho, and he was third in the pecking order. Looking back on it now, it might have been wise to keep 3 strikers, but maybe he wasn't happy with that. But I mean, like you said there, in terms of finishing, like he's missed some sisters, but recently he's shown that he's a good finisher. At City before he left, he was a good finisher. So I wouldn't go as far as I would want to re-sign him, but he's definitely a better finisher than Jesus. Because Jesus is, like I say, he's a good player, but he's not a finisher. No, like he's not clinical at all. He does not put away the chances.
So we're safe. You're not going to come back in for him then for the 50 million?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Somebody here said we'll swap you for Mahrez.
I mean,
I know when he first went, he took a while to settle in himself, didn't he?
Yeah. His first season, he had some good moments, but he was, trying to settle in. But his second season, he just hit the ground running. It was fantastic, and he's carried that on since. His first touch is unreal, absolutely unreal. Every time they ping a diag towards him, touchdown, he's away, and he's close control, like going back and forth, trying to get the out of space, putting the defender off balance is fantastic. I think there's a couple of goals he scored against Southampton recently. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the goal that he scored against us, because of course he put you 1-0 up in the first game. It was the Mahrez of old, and we will always love the guy because of what he did for us. Certainly, in the Premier League winning season, but he can throw his toys out the pram, and unfortunately we tend to remember him just as much for him sat at the airport waiting for a move as much as lifting the Premier League trophy. But I don't know whether I'd have him back. I don't think necessarily players are always that good when they come back. But I'm looking here actually, and this surprised me because sort of in the Premier League, and I was just looking at our stats here earlier, and we've played 19 times in the Premier League, and it's actually closer than I thought. You've won 10, but we've managed to win 7, a couple of draws in there. A lot of people are thinking it's a foregone conclusion that you might win this weekend, but having seen what went wrong against Man United, you had one job to do for us against Man United, and you cocked it up. We were relying on you there.
We need to sort ourselves out in the derby. We can. I mean, in the context of a season, we've gone 24 matches win run, lose 1, and then we've carried on winning. So in the context of the season, it's probably better for your season. Yes. But in the context of the derby, you want to win the derby, and now that's 4 games in a row without a win in the derby in the Premier League. We've won it a couple of times in the cups recently, in the League Cup semi last year and the League Cup semi this year. But in the Premier League, we need to sort ourselves out. We need to sort our heads out because our form in the derby is not great. I think we've drawn 1 and lost 3, which is not good enough. So,
I mean, our recent history with you here, obviously, I keep mentioning it, but I will do. Come on, give us our moment of glory in the spotlight. We beat you, I'd say, the 5-2. You beat us 1-0. This is just league games. There's no cup games in here. Yeah. you beat us 3-1, you beat us 1-0, we beat you 2-1. It is a bit nip and tuck. And like I say, having the way we played against Man United, if that Leicester turns up and the Man City who played Man United turn up, it could actually be a surprise.
I think the King Power is a stadium that we struggle with. Even like the win we got there was a 1-0. So it is a difficult stadium. I mean, for any team to come to, but it's one that we find especially difficult. So yeah, it's far from a definite like.
And thank God you haven't got Vincent Company anymore.
So
I remember, remember that goal. Like, come on, Vincent Company, for God's sake.
Oh, fantastic goal. I remember watching that. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
You obviously, like I say, happy. I mean, looking at the form going in here, you can't be anything but happy. I mean, you've got that Man United loss, but it's green all the way. Apart from that, we're not so far behind you. But the start of the season, and we touched on this earlier. I seem to remember a couple of Man City sites calling for Pep's head.
I mean, I think the part of that was as well his contract before he signed his new deal ended at the end of the season. So I think a few people were saying, at the end of the season, just it was the Champions League loss against Lyon was still quite recent and quite raw. And it felt like it was coming to sort of the end of like that sort of period of time, but so some people was like at the end of the season, just call it there, call it quits. But they signed that new contract, and it's been fantastic since. So
yeah. And how do you think Pep's going to play it tomorrow? Is he going to go out and sort of go for it, if you like, and attack us, or are you going to sort of take it cautiously?
To know how we're going to play with us coming off an international break, because with a squad like City's, you've got a lot of international players, so they'll all be coming back. They have a couple of days training, so it'll be interesting to see how they cope with that. But I mean, I'd like to think that he'll play a false nine, because I think we play better with a false nine at the moment. With not having I mean, we've got Aguero back fit, but he's not match sharp, and Jesus isn't good enough. So without a good a match fit good number 9, then playing a false 9 is better for us, I think.
Yeah.
I think a bit of a theme this year is at the start of the year he tried to. So last season, one of our things was we always got done on the counter attack. This year, at the start of the year, he started playing 2 holding midfielders to try and counter that. But then he's ditched that, and he started, the thing where he puts Cancelo into the middle.
Yeah,
like that's obviously, but partly because he's got another person in midfield to pass the ball and for possession purposes. But it's also to have another player in that middle of the park to stop that counter. So I think we will be a bit more wary. But I don't. Not that we're not going to attack, because Pep only knows how to attack.
Yeah,
like defending isn't in his DNA.
I mean, we sort of go through periods with Brendan Rodgers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him, and I'm whatever happens, I want him to stay a long, long time. I think he's doing a brilliant job at Leicester. He's kind of stumbled onto this, and I think this has been the problem with Iheanacho, is that he's always been played if Vardy's not fit, or is there's too many games. It was a cup game, midweek game coming along, played in that Vardy role, and he's not that type of a player. And we've kind of he's almost stumbled onto this back to 2 up front, which possibly apart from Burnley, I don't think anybody else plays with the 2 up front anymore. Can you see in actually getting. I mean, it'd be great for us for him to get a couple against his old team.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. Like to think not, but you never know. I mean, I'd like to think our defense has improved since the 5-2 loss. I mean, John Stones making that mistake against Poland isn't. I mean, it's his first mistake for a while, for ages. So you know, got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's not great. So you might start Diaz and Laporte, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's always a shame when there's a defender or a goalkeeper that makes a mistake, because it always costs you more than than the strike. And how are you doing injury wise? I mean, I'm just looking at ours now. Harvey Barnes is still out. Under is not going to be back, but then again, I doubt. You know, he very rarely plays anyway. Madison could well be back. Pereira is back. James Justin is still out. So our injuries are actually getting a lot better. We've just got possibly the 2. It might be too early for Madison to come and play a full game. On your front, how are you with injuries?
I think we're okay. Like, we've got players coming back from injury who just need to get match sharp, like Aguero. I think who was it? I think Nathan Ake was the other one who was the last injury, who's come back but just needs to get to match fitness and match sharpness. But apart from that, I think we're okay.
I'm just looking here. It's on a website with Premier League injuries. Your team's not even listed, so I'm presuming from that you've got a full squad, and you've nobody that's sort of injured coming back from the internationals, which is obviously always the worry.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's down to the fact that we can rotate every match, and like we were saying before, with the amount of games, the ability to be able to rotate like that has helped us not have as many injuries.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously that also helps. But
I'm going to ask a question here from Andy. Well, I'm not going to ask the question.
This model, the way it is, for this very purpose.
Yeah. Also, I do apologise there. You broke up again, and I thought you'd stopped. Sorry about that. And just that quickly asking is, Andy's asking here, which obviously Leicester player, do you fear the most?
I mean, an informed Jamie Vardy, obviously. Even Jamie Vardy, who's not match fit, really, he's still a threat. I mean, obviously, in terms of form, you'd say like, Inacio is going to score. Maddison, a fantastic player, but obviously he's not match fit. But I mean, there's quality players all through the Leicester team. Yeah. But I mean, if you're talking about completely fit Leicester team, you'd say Jamie Vardy, definitely.
He does like a goal against you guys, doesn't he? You know.
It's the like I say, the pace and the counter attack. It just does our defenders every time. So
yes, yeah. And he's due a goal, to be quite honest with you. He's on a bit of a dry patch at the moment, so he is due a goal. So fingers crossed, you know. A lot of Leicester fans are looking at this as a bit of a give, if you like, is that we're not expecting any points at all. It's no. If we get a draw, you know, it's a bonus sort of thing because of the way that you guys are playing. I mean, you know, even if the worst happens for you, best for us, and we win, it's not exactly going to derail you, is it?
I mean, yeah, it's the same happened with United. They beat us, but we're still 11 points clear or something. I think it's 14, but they've got a game in hand or something.
Yeah, you're actually 14 points ahead.
14, yeah. I think we've got a game in hand or something, but
Man United have got a game. You've played 30. Everybody else has played 29.
Yeah. Well, I mean, United beat us, and it didn't. Like I said, we've just carried on winning. So it won't be the end of the world, but obviously you don't want to lose any match.
No.
You want to win every match you can.
I think what we're trying to say here is that it's not going to ruin your season if you lose, so please let us win. But that said, it's been that sort of season when we've gone out and beaten teams that we weren't expected to beat and lost to teams that we expect to roll over. Yeah,
I don't really understand why Leicester fans would be like, oh, it's a free hit, like, you know, they're not expecting to get anything from it, because just by looking at the league table, you're one of the top teams in the league this season. So you should be thinking, oh, we might be able to get something from this game. I mean, it's the way I see it is that we're playing one of the top teams in the league this season. So it's going to be a very difficult game. I know you got injuries and stuff like that, but like, it's going to be like, Brendan Rodgers is a fantastic coach. You'll have them well organised. It's going to be a very difficult game. Yeah, I
just think from a Leicester fan's point of view, the answer I would give to that is because we are Leicester, and we have a habit of shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right.
We always say every season for Leicester is a roller coaster season. I mean, you know, look at last year. We absolutely just kind of, you know, we're always the bridesmaids, never quite the bride. But it seems really, when you think about it, and it's hit me earlier that it wasn't that long ago that we were playing each other in the third tier.
No, about 20 years, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, not even that, was it? I know. I mean, it's amazing how football turns around, isn't it? You know, if you'd said back then that, you know, we'd be playing each other first and third, we'd have laughed, wouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's just before my time, really. But I started supporting City just before the financial takeover, so you know, I was on the tail end of that period.
You only remember the glory years. That's what you're trying to say.
No, I mean, I still remember some of the. I still remember some of the.
Yeah. Oh, I'm jesting, of course. I'm jesting, but
no. I still remember some of the harder times.
Yeah. We're gonna come to an end now, but I was going to ask you, as we always finish these off, we do a score prediction on the website leicestertillidie.com with myself and some ex-players. None of us, like we've said there, are feeling particularly hopeful on this. Steve Walsh has gone 1-1. Steve Linux has gone 1-3. Big Marshy, Ian Marshall's gone 3-1 to you guys. I can never predict a loss, but I've gone 2-2, so 3 draws and a loss. What are you going to predict yourself?
I think it'll be a very close game. I think I'll back us to win 2-1, but I don't think we'll run away with it. I think it'll be a very close game.
Andy, this isn't nice. Chris remembers the black and white games. I actually do. I had my 60th at the start of the week, and I was really disappointed to realise that I'm too young to even get a bus pass. How annoying is that? But I do get free prescriptions, so hey, win some, lose some. Then I would say good luck for the weekend, but I wouldn't mean it. I do wish you. Obviously, I don't want you to do well in the cup, because hopefully that we do. I really hope you do well in the League Cup, because I don't like Tottenham. So hopefully you'll stuff Tottenham for us. And I always want to see British teams do well. And so good luck in the Champions League. And like I say, I think that's going to be a toughie for you.
We've got Chelsea in the semi-final of the FA Cup, so you never know. Chelsea.
To be totally honest with you, that is the draw that everybody thought that it was going to be, you two are going to be kept apart, but it kind of just adds to the magic a little bit, doesn't it? So we might see you in the final, and we might have fans back for the final.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But Ben, thank you so much for coming on. I do hope your prediction is wrong, obviously. Thanks a lot, mate. And as I say, apart from the FA Cup, good luck for the rest and the weekend. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Stay safe, mate. All the best.
Yes, you too.
Thanks a lot. So thanks to Ben there. Nice to have him along. Honest answers. Always love doing this. It's always great to get an opposing fans' point of view. This has been Leicester Till I Die. We're going to be back in 1 second, just straight after this.
Hi, Alan Smith here. Be sure to watch and listen to Chris on Leicester Till I Die TV. You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels. Up the Foxes!
Thanks a lot, Alan. And we're also, if you want to catch up on this, give us about half an hour to upload it. And we are in podcast form on your favourite podcast platform, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google, and Podcast Addict. And if you have a smart speaker, just say, play the podcast Leicester Till I Die, and it should come up with the latest one. Oh, nervous about the weekend. I don't think it's going to be another 5-2. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be close to what I say. I've gone for a 2-2, obviously, so I don't think it's going to be another 5-2. Man City follows it. So a tough couple of games. For me, and I say a lot of Leicester fans have been saying this, if we were to lose against Man City, not the end of the world, because, like I say, I think it's one that, we might expect. But then again, like I said earlier, this is Leicester City. We never know. We could go out and smash Man City again, then struggle against West Ham. West Ham's the one that I would really want to win out of the two. And they're up, as I say, the week after, because obviously that would put a bigger gap between us and fifth if they stay there. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. But at least Premier League football back, and that is the main thing. I'm going to be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. We're going to look at it's going to be the preview show with myself and Craig. And we'll be looking at the game in a bit more detail. And Craig will try and second guess what team Brendan might go for. It's got to be Nacho and Vardy up front, hasn't it? Nacho's on fire. Spicy hot. See you tomorrow at 7. Good night.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.